Queen Outreach Program. Yo, guys, karibuni sana. It's good to have you.
Thank you.
I love the outfits. It's matching the studio. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's amazing. So we have Wes, Kulolu, and the one and only Inani.
Yes.
You guys, your names are really, really amazing. So karibuni sana.
Asante.
Now, first of all, for context purposes, let me just give guys a profile of this amazing documentary, The Elephant Queen, which is very emotional. I bet you probably your kid out there has watched it, yeah, if you're listening to us right here. Now, okay, there you go. So now, The Elephant Queen is a stunning nature documentary narrated by a guy called Chiwetel Ejiofor. He's a Nigerian, isn't it? Yeah. That follows Athena, a majestic elephant matriarch, as she leads her herd on a perilous journey across the African savannah. When their watering hole dries up, Athena must guide her family, including her calf and a young elephant nicknamed Mimi. Mimi is now the individual, the calf that made a lot of people cry.
Yeah.
How she died was so sad.
So sad.
So she guides her calf and the whole herd through drought, predators, and the harsh realities of survival. This film beautifully captures the emotional depth, intelligence, and leadership within elephant families, while also revealing how their survival is tied to the entire ecosystem. It's more than a wildlife film. It's a story of motherhood, resilience, and the power of nature's balance. It was directed by Mark Dibble and Victoria Stone. It was actually filmed at the Savo.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Savo and the Amboseli.
Oh yeah, yes, good stuff. Yeah, and you can actually watch it on Apple TV. And the documentary has also won a couple of awards, international acclaim for cinematography, storytelling, and conservation impact. Now I'm going to start with you, Inani.
Yeah.
Maybe you can tell us, give us a background of this really amazing program that you guys are engaged with, the Elephant Queen Outreach Program. What it's about and what inspires you guys to do what you do.
Well, I think before I dive straight into it, maybe just a little bit back history on the film itself, because on the producers and the directors, there's one that hasn't probably been mentioned, and his name is Etienne Olive, who is our head, one of our executive directors as well. And when the three of them went into the Savo ecosystem and along the Amboseli region as well, they started filming, and it was like around the 2010, 2017 period when poaching had really gotten to its rise.
That's when it was like a crisis.
It was a crisis. And for the film directors at that period, they kept on coming across young cows that have been left alone because their parents, their mothers, the matriarchs were being poached because of their tusks, because they're the big tuskers. And they kept on going through it, and they were like, well, a lot of wildlife films have been made, and especially about elephants as well. But then for them, the constant question, or rather the realization of coming across the orphaned cows, they were like, do we want to make a film that still reveals all this madness and the crisis that is going on, or do we want to make a film that will make people fall in love with elephants again?
Right.
So then they went for this love story that you just read about. And then when they did this, along the way, they also realized, because of course they interacted with communities while they were doing the filming, and then they realized that most of wildlife films are made within our national parks and within our conservancies, and the people who are along with them, probably when they are going through this journey with the animals, they also meet people, they don't get to watch the films. So then they said it won't be about them making a film and then selling it off because that's what they do, it's their business. But then they thought further and to have this bigger dream of an outreach.
Right.
That then the film goes back to the communities, goes back to the people, so that they're able to watch the wild animals in their natural habitat, to be able to understand how an elephant behaves, because as you've read, they're not very far from the human values that we also uphold.
Right.
You know, love, friendship, connectivity, sometimes even the disagreements, you know.
The idea of family as well.
The idea of family as well. So then that's when the outreach program was born. And it was more in terms of how do we create an innovative way of Kenyans to appreciate, love, and understand our nature, our natural heritage in that sense. And then, of course, without it being said so loud, who would have been best to do that if it's not artists?
So how long? So you guys are pretty much artists. I love it, that are passionate about conservancy and the environment. So how long has the program lasted so far? How long has it been?
So far, we are on phase 2. It has gone we had
3 years.
3 years.
3 years, and then we took a break, about 2 weeks break, of course, funding and all that and preparations. And now we are on our next phase. I think
we've just done a month.
About a month.
However, it started with a 6-month period of preparation because, as we say, we reached to a point where we will need to have more artists on board to support this amazing outreach and an innovative way of making people understand about conservation, because conservation can be deemed as a boring topic altogether.
But I was going to ask you that now. When it comes to conservation education and of course the environment, what sort of gaps are you feeling that you decided to come up with this, that you guys decided to be a part of and come up with this program? What gaps were you trying to fill, really?
I think it was mainly the love for nature, because I think we it's so part of us as Kenyans. We're really blessed, if you think about it, that maybe it grows on us in a different way, that we stop really being very intentional with it. But also it went to an extent of the literacy side of it, that if you don't have the information, if you don't understand it to a completion, then you experience it, and then it's almost like you drop it along the way. It's as simple as when you think of the joke that we make when we sweep our compounds, or we cut down all these trees to build a beautiful house, but then you put cabro, and then at the same time you want a kitchen garden. So then you don't think of, if I don't leave the tree and then it doesn't give shade, the birds won't come, it won't be breezy. Like, it's just the literacy side of it that people really start to understand and process nature in its glory.
Fantastic. So you, so Wes, I want to jump to you right now. You've worked with schools, of course, local communities, and what's the feedback like from the students that you engage with and the teachers?
I think as a team, we inspire communities and students very differently. Some of them through the conservation work that we do, but again, looking at the team, everybody has a set of skill that when we go out to schools, they get to pick, and we realize that communities, we go with this conservation education information, but then they pick what they want to pick. And so we are like a package. So when we go out to schools, they come out in numbers. They love it. They look at it from a very different perspective. If you look at the team, we as artists and as Kenyans, first of all as Kenyans, because one thing that has been going on with conservation, many people think conservation is a white man's business.
I agree. It's for the elites.
It's for the elites.
Privileged class,
And one of the, when you asked about gaps, that's what that is what we felt was there. Brought in a team of young Kenyans who can passionately talk about these issues, but not just talk about them very boringly. Sing about them, perform about them, rap about them, create songs and dance with students about them, but also give them the facts in a very different way.
Because I remember, when it comes to, for me, how I grew up, conservancy, these conversations around environment, the conservation, climate change, it was mostly on statistics. But now you guys are bringing an element of storytelling. You know what I mean? As an artist, Kulolo. Sorry.
Lola.
Lola. I have to get the name right. Lola. How powerful do you think the art of storytelling and conservancy can play out when it comes to spreading this message even more and more and more in this day and age?
It is absolutely impactful. Very big, because it's a different way of breaking that norm that conservation education is boring.
Numbers, data.
When we are performing shows like our show, one of our shows, The Child of Athena, and the other one, Pori Radio, using storytelling everyone is usually so immersed, and you get to reach to their feelings and their emotions, and then you tap into their anger, and then we are able to have those very heavy, hard conversations around how much they've gone through living around wildlife. And it's very impactful because a very beautiful thing happened when we went to Buhuta. It's 4 years later, but some of the children remembered Enane and West from phase 1, and they remembered exactly what they were told, and they're the ones who keep triggering and telling their parents, hey, you know what, we need to stand up for our environment, we need to stand up for and stop and try to mitigate this human wildlife conflict and try to live coexist peacefully with these animals as well.
Let me ask you something, Kulola. When they engage with the program, is it so? Do you guys showcase parts of the documentary? What kind of content do you add to the students? To the locals.
Well, we do. We usually have like a 2-day program for when we visit a community or a school. So on the first day, when we get there, we usually do pre-engagement, and then we show the film, the documentary, the Elephant Queen, and also the other one, the Elephants and the Termites, which is a follow-up on the Elephant Queen.
Interesting.
So we have 2.
I don't know about that one. Now you know. The Elephant Queen.
So big and small.
Right.
For areas where phase 1 went, we are following up with the Elephants and Termites, which is more about biodiversity and coexisting and interconnectivity.
So it's fascinating because the more I watch the documentary, the more I listen to you guys. Even when we were discussing before the interview started, I don't think people understand just how much elephants, for example, massive herds of elephants really help with the natural environment, that whole ecosystem. Like everything is so interconnected, especially starting with the elephants. Maybe you can expand on that.
Well, we like to say big and small. So I'll take you through the elephants and the termites, because that's the whole story of interconnectivity. So the story begins with an anthill. The termites are in there. They're the ones who build it. And most people don't know they use their saliva, which has mineral salts that the elephants need. Because in regions like Savo, the soil does not have mineral salts that they need for growth and nutrition. So the elephants then eat. They rub
their booties.
Their booties on the on the termite mound. And then so slowly, when the termite mound starts to erode, and most times it ends up being a hole. Like they eat that soil until it becomes a hole. So when it becomes a hole, water fills up. And it's interesting when you look at it, because also the parts that the water flows down to the holes, to the water holes, are the parts where these elephants have also passed through. Because they use
they've got
specific paths. And so when they get there, when it becomes a hole, then elephants carry killifish eggs on their skin as they travel, and it could take months. And then the water hole fills and the killifish are there, and then the spiders come, and then the frogs, and then the butterflies, and everything is alive and thriving, and it is beautiful.
That's amazing. I like how you put it. Now, Inani.
Yes.
So let's talk about the versions of course, because I'm sure there's students and folks who probably don't understand English. The versions of this documentary, and of course also the Elephant and the Termites, that's on Apple TV. So how have you got different versions, maybe in Swahili, Luo, whatever, that can make it even more accessible and understandable, to younger Kenyans?
Yes. So now the only film that we have that is on Apple Plus TV is the Elephant Queen. The Elephant and the Termites, that we have it, and it's a link that we have locally, and people can access it. And both films are translated in English, Kiswahili, and Ma. And
Ma is Maasai.
Ma is Maasai.
Yeah.
Because then we realize the further we go, the Kiswahili, especially within the Ma and the Samburu region, isn't as really a spoken language as often. But those are the communities that are also really within the wild animals, if not bordering.
I agree.
So then the schools also get to still watch it either in Kiswahili or Ma. So English kind of ends at a very city-based space.
Yeah.
It's here. When we go out there, it's really Kiswahili.
Yeah.
And then it will change to Ma. But also within the same schools, with the books, we have the Mimi Nawewe Learn to Read series.
Fantastic.
Yes, and these books, it's a 28 books, and it's a series of all characters from the films.
Nice.
So if the kids have watched about the killifish or the Egyptian goose, who's actually called Steven, he has a very beautiful story, and the kids love it.
Yeah, oh, he's popular.
Yeah, it's very popular.
Okay.
So then once they watch the films, they watch, we have the engagement. And everything is done in Kiswahili.
Yeah.
And then the performances as well are translated in English, Kiswahili, and Ma.
Yeah.
And now that's where the interesting part comes, especially when it comes to the performances, because we are very diverse. We are a team of 17 of us.
Oh, wow.
That means we have to have reached at least every part
Of the country.
And then, if not almost.
Yeah.
So when we get to the Ma region, we have to learn how to speak Ma.
Yeah.
So you guys can actually speak a bit of Ma?
I can count.
Yeah, and I can say Lil Tome or Old Tome. So Lil Tome is Samburu, Old Tome is the Ma side of it. But that's a fun thing of everything that we're doing. It's really custom made, and we try as much as possible to kind of bespoke it to the community that we are interacting with.
So Wes, do you foresee a situation where at some point maybe you guys are going to have to traverse the whole country?
There is a big possibility.
Will you ever get to that point?
And probably not just the country, probably out of the country too.
Interesting,
because again, you realize that the human wildlife conflicts, they happen all across Africa. But I think, again, in Kenya, it is a very diverse thing. So you find the areas where the elephant is the issue, and people have issues with the elephant. And then you go to some places, it's snakes.
It's true.
And then, and especially snakes, people do not understand snakes at all. And you know how, you see it, you just,
You get scared, you want to kill it. But for me, it's interesting you put it like that, because I know where I'm from in Kisumu, there's usually human hippo conflict.
Yes.
And this is not a story to do with elephants only.
So in fact, for us, the elephant queen is just an entry. So we're using the elephant because it's the biggest, land animal. We're using it, but the truth is, we're getting into all the other species of wildlife. Because, for example, even wild dogs. There are people who have issues with wild dogs. The hyena. People don't even. If you talk about the hyena, people will tell you,
you know what I mean?
Hyena. Fisi.
Kwanza, I don't know whether you saw even in the news. There's areas in Nairobi, for example, like Juja, where hyenas actually killed a bunch of folks, humans. In Rongai, I mean, that one is all over the news.
In Ngong, people are driving and you see lions.
I know, man.
And lions too. It's a fact that today lions are on a decrease. All right, and people do not know. People don't understand.
So the population is actually going down so fast.
And of course, the population is going down because, again, our population is getting bigger.
It's true.
And we are going into the wild more and more, and we are getting so close to them, and they feel like. Truth is, there is no business a lion walking around the streets of Nairobi, but it's pushed to that level.
Yeah, it's true. So hold it right there, guys. We are having a conversation about a conservation education program. Now, this one is bouncing off a very amazing documentary called The Elephant Queen, and you can actually catch it on Apple TV. But there's also other, amazing products, or should I say,
elements
to that show. You can actually check out the website. It's elephant.co.ke. Right? Yeah. But now, of course, in studio I have the Elephant Queen Outreach Program. So these are the guys behind the whole, outreach, because they're doing such an amazing job, man. And tonight we're talking all things beyond the film, building environmental literacy through the Elephant Queen. We're coming back in just a bit. Remember, you can actually shoot us a question, jump into this conversation. It's 0719012600. You can also find us online with that hashtag After Hours on Spice. Right now, 12 minutes to 8.